Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Exploring the Car with host Ra Castaldo. And I'm about to leave for work. Just finished my morning meditation, and I came into some incredible connections, connecting some dots, basically. And something that I've known for quite some time. I've heard this story since I'm a kid. And I never connected the dots because I haven't heard it in years. And then I'm looking at some of the old Strega myths, and Strega is called the La Vecchia Religione, or the old religion, the old ways, the ancient ways of connecting with your spirit and nature. And there are myths of the old religion similar to ancient Egypt myths as well, and some of the myths of Osiris and Isis and all this. It's basically the same story sometimes, just with different names. And there's one myth that involves a battle between the light and the darkness, and this, in Etruscan myths, is known as the battle between lupus and Cern. Lupus being the wolf god, who is a representation of the waning forces of nature, and Cern being the stag god, symbolizing the waxing forces of nature. And these are also, the light and the dark, and Cern being the horned god, the stag god, and lupus being the wolf, the light. And the tale says that on the day, you see in Celtic lore, it involves the solstices, the nights of the solstice, but in Italian lore, it involves the equinoxes. And it's said on the day of the spring equinox, while hunting, Lupus was trying to hunt a deer, and he was struck by a bolt of lightning that was shaped like an arrow, and he seemingly died. He seemingly died, and the next morning he arose from the underworld as the sun. And having, learned that his brother died, Cern becomes god of this world and reigns in his place on earth. Now, let me analyze that for a minute, okay? Lupus, the god of light, right? He dies from a thunderbolt from the sky. He got hit by a thunderbolt, right? So he died. And now his brother, Cern, learns of this death. And, when he learns that his brother Lupus gets killed by a thunderbolt, Cern becomes god of this world and reigns in his place on earth. And then it's said that the only thing left of Lupus was his wolf skin. That's the only thing that was found of his body, was the skin. Everything else was fried, whatever. And they just found his some hair laying there, a wolf, hide, or pelt, And so another hunter found this pelt of skin, and it turned out to be a magical skin. And from then on, this pelt had the power to transform men into wolves. And the first man to ever wear the wolf pelt of Lupus became a priest of the Lupercus and founded the Luperci, which is an ancient society to keep these rites alive that are related to my family. And lupus represents the fall and the winter months and the waning seasons, you know, and his brother Cern represents the spring and the summer, the waxing. And you know, and it's said that lupus then is slain during the hunt, in which Cern is the hunted. He is slain by a centaur who was given a bolt of lightning for his bow by Dionysus. Having been persuaded by his sister Diana, Cern is later slain as well, but on the autumn equinox by Mars during a hunting incident. So it's also, you know, note that the centaur in the constellation Centaurus is aiming the bow at the constellation Lupus, the wolf. So you know, the wolf was very sacred to Mars, and it was some sort of vengeance slaying in the myth of Cern. And this story is also like it's said in the book here, it's a story that's about a struggle with our own higher and lower natures and the light and darkness in all of us. But there is no coincidence that Cern, C-E-R-N, spelt the same way that Cern in Switzerland spells Cern. There's no way that's a coincidence that Cern picked that name for their facility to represent the light, where they're working with light and dark matter, the light and the darkness, and trying to master it. And it is pretty intense. You know, I've never even heard anybody relate this. Look up the Etruscan god Cern, or Celtic god Cern, spelt the same way. He's the stag god of the forest, the horned god, who becomes god of this world and reigns on earth. And, you know, then he is, later Cern is slain by Mars, the god of war. And, that's crazy too, because lupus, you know, basically lupus was slain by that lightning bolt, and it said that that lightning bolt was by a centaur, and he was given the bolt of lightning by Dionysus, who was persuaded by his sister Diana. So this is intense. This is really intense. Yeah, guys, you know, it's interesting because, like, in the ritual of Lupercus, it releases the wolf within us, like, not to us to be untamed or owned. And, you know, it's kind of like in the hunt for ourselves, we are struck by lightning and we are transformed into a new light, you know, and I think that's what it's representing too as well. Like, he was struck by lightning, you know, his soul was awakened, and then he arose with a new spirit, you know. But this is intense, you know, and people should look more into this and why it is called Cern. And I gotta say goodbye for now and spiral out.